Hey, how are you?
Hey,
Good. How are you guys?
I'm doing wonderful, thanks. I'm Bruce. That's my partner, Dark Mark.
Dark Mark and Bruce.
Dark
Hi,
Mark.
I'm James. This is Haley. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for taking time. I
yep.
appreciate it. Where are you guys located?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I did read that. Isn't it? I'm just going to jump right in there. Is it strange playing this kind of music in what I assume is a very not metal
Like,
city or very religious city?
I say yes and no. No, because Salt Lake City actually has a great metal scene. So we have a
Really?
great, yeah, we have a great community of bands that play all different genres of metal. So we feel right at home there. Yes, because we tend to take that one step further into being anti-religious. So
Blasphemous, right?
yeah, and so I would say that kind of puts us in a little more of a niche. Believe it or not, there's not that many uh we have a big metalcore community here. Like that's kind of like the big genre. So
I didn't mean to like put you guys on a spot, but that's a when you said Salt Lake City, that's what I think of, right? This pristine sort of religious city, and not what you guys are doing,
yeah,
something like
yeah.
a Cradle of Filth or that sort of
Yeah,
thing, right?
oh, exactly. That's what helped inspire our music.
yeah. It's very religious here. It's a very nice kind of vanilla city. Everyone's very kind. So, even people that we meet, I work in a lot of the temples here as a construction worker. So it's always kind of funny because they'll I always go into the trailers and I'll see the guys like the other contractors like watching our music videos, and they're always just kind of like, "That's pretty cool." They're all really nice about it.
But no real blowback then.
Not
No,
really.
the difference between I think like Mormonism and a lot of other Christian based faiths is I call it that howdy neighbor religion because they're very sweet, and that's kind of how they recruit is through honey instead of vinegar. So
Right.
that's why
Yeah.
a lot of our imagery in our videos tends to lean towards more Catholicism because Mormonism just isn't scary, at least not on the outside.
Oh, fair enough. So, and like I said, I'm a religious studies major in school, and I'm really interested in that sort of kind of metal meets religion. So that's why I asked that.
Of course, like I said, it's a huge core of what our music is about, especially as a woman growing up in the predominant faith here in Salt Lake City. It was crazy. You're meant to just kind of you are bred to make babies and be a good wife and cook and clean and one man for one woman sort of thing. And it's just never been who I am. So
I, I thought it was one man for many women, but
That's the thing we get on TV too, right? So there's all these weird I guess misperceptions of Salt Lake City, maybe.
yeah,
There's
so
sections
yeah,
of Salt Lake City where polygamy is still practiced. Like you have like the the LDS faith that it's against their rules to have polygamy, and then you have the FLDS that's like the fundamentalists that follow like the old religion, and they're mostly like down in like southern Utah and stuff. And like Salt Lake
yeah.
City's not really. Salt Lake City's actually pretty liberal in that sense. It's all the surrounding areas around Salt Lake that is very much kind of more fundamentally LDS.
Gotcha. All right, sorry, I got you totally off track. We're here to talk about arsenic addiction, but like I said, my
It's
my
part of us.
religious background and stuff is very very interested in that sort of thing. So
Yeah, like I said, that's a huge core of who we are. So it makes perfect sense.
excellent. So for those not familiar with arsenic addiction, can you give us the two sentence elevator boardroom pitch sort of thing?
So arsenic addiction is black and gothic metal. So we like to meld kind of like the gothic sound of everything like church choir and bells with inspiration lyrically and I would say, musically from black metal. So
Perfect. And so image is a big part of your what you guys do. Are you guys planning to take this when you take this out on the road? Is it going to be like a big theatrical presentation or production?
we would love to get there eventually.
Yeah, as much as we can. We just played Hell in Heaven Fest down in Toluca, Mexico, and like even going down there, we could only bring minimal things
Right.
flying down. So, but we try to bring like the imagery of like some of our music videos and stuff to the stage. Like,
so our makeup, our costumes. I have a pair of goat horns I wear on stage. Stage blood. But when we play in the States and we're allowed to, travel with all of our stuff, we try and bring like candles. We have windows that are LED cathedral windows. We try to make you feel as immersed as if you're watching one of our music videos. So
that's great. But it also leads to, I think, lots of mishaps, right?
oh yeah.
yeah.
So I've got to ask this question too, because I'll give you the little backstory. I was on 70,000 Tons of Metal when you're doing some interviews with Saltatio Mortis, I believe that band is. And I asked him what was the craziest thing that happened on stage. And the guy's like, hey, we were playing at Wacken or Wacken, whatever you want to say. And I sat down at my drums to start playing, and a hornet went up my shorts and stung him in the nuts. And he was telling me that it continued to grow and swell like a grapefruit, but it was the first time they had played Wacken, and he wasn't going to miss it. So he played in tremendous pain with a grapefruit.
Yeah.
So with that being said, do you guys have any like weird mishaps that you care to share with us?
Oh, we just had a similar experience with our drummer, actually. So we played on the Nude Blood stage down in Mexico, and it's still a really big, decent stage. It was the biggest stage we've ever played on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, though. The stage itself was like a trampoline. It was like bouncy.
Especially the drum riser.
Yeah.
Was just shaking.
And so the stage is bouncy, and then they put a drum riser on it, which is extra bouncy. So you can see on our drummer's drum cam as he's playing, he's like swaying like he's on a ship. And
Really?
so he's trying, he's trying to like play and go, like, and not like sway off the platform.
Nice.
Yeah. And as a vocalist, the elevation was also like way higher. We live in the mountains, but it's like our highest mountain. So I'm like trying to sing and jump around, and I'm so tired that I don't realize like every little piece of the stage has like a little lip where they connect. So it probably looks so silly because I'd be like headbanging and windmilling, and then I'd be like, what? Get back up, and then I'm good.
Nice.
Keep going.
Nice.
Do you know that old joke? Sorry, do you know that old joke about how you know whether a stage is level?
Oh.
The drool is coming out both sides of the drummer's mouth. That's your little story
Nice.
made me think of that one.
Exactly. I mean, with the extra element of stage theatrics, I mean, we've had tons of stuff go wrong. From like my hair has gotten caught in his headstock one time.
Oh, that's
because we used to have this little bit where he'd be playing his solo, and I'd go and like sit on his knee and lick like the neck of his guitar. And so we did that a little bit, and I went to pull away, and my hair was like,
oh no.
and what do you do at that point other than like, we got to keep performing? So at that point I was like, I guess I'm gonna lose some hair. So I just went,
God.
and so my hair like stayed in his headstock, and his guitar like went completely out of tune, and we just had to like finish the song. And
mid solo, it's all I'm like, no more solo right now.
So when I'm reading the bio, then Moon and Sun, is that really from the 2019 record?
Yeah, that one is.
What was the reason to release it so many years later?
so, I mean, obviously, like with 2020 and COVID happening, we released XIX at the
Right before the pandemic.
like December, September area. And so we never got to promote or tour or travel on that album for 2 years. And so about a year into the pandemic, we decided, well, what can we do safely we can get together and have a small crew and make music videos. And that's how we'll promote the album and still be able to give it some due. It really sucked that we spent 5 years on this album and then we were like, yeah, we're going to go tour this album and promote the shit out of it. And then the world shut down. So.
Right. So this was kind of something you guys put together, the video during the shutdown or lockdown or whatever?
Yeah, we planned 3 videos. So we did Fire, Moon and Sun, and Tomb Sleep, right?
Maleficem.
Maleficem, that's right.
And then we did another song off the album called Tomb of Sleep that we were still kind of in the pandemic. And we're like, well, we'll just do another video for it. So.
Gotcha. I know this morning I've been listening to Mary Immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's quite a song.
Thank you. Funny thing is, it's one of our oldest songs it didn't quite fit 2019. So as far as the album concept went, so we decided let's wait and release it as a single. And it's our most rock-based song.
Maybe that's why it resonates with me. I was like, wow, that's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pulled some elements of like when we were writing it, like at least guitar wise, like pulling like elements of like Typo Negative and stuff like that, like all these like super gothy bands that we really, really like. And we kind of built off of that and made it very rocky, kind of cathedral-esque, like church choir-esque kind of song.
Right.
But yeah, that one was one that we started writing and then didn't make it onto XIX, and then we just kind of held on to it, and then we decided that we wanted to release it as our newest single.
Yeah, kind of as a good transitional piece. Even though this upcoming album will definitely be more towards like the blackened metal. I thought this was a nice closure, a nice goodbye to kind of like 2019 and everything that came before it, and good imagery into kind of like the concept of the next album. So
are you guys planning, I guess you guys are planning then on doing another full length or another EP, and you're not just going to stick to the singles route?
Yes. We will release it kind of like in the modern way of we will release singles from the album, like 5 songs. That's one thing I hate about the music business is I personally I miss like the days of the anticipation of the album. Yes. Where you'd like go and get in line for it, and like it would be an event or you'd have listening parties or whatever, and that's just like unfortunately kind of like a dying thing. So we're trying to adapt, and so it's not how I prefer to release an album, but we're going to try it this cycle. We're going to release a few songs off it and then the rest of the album. So,
Mark, you got anything?
Just curious. Sorry, did I hear you say a second ago that like you were planning on touring in 2020? Like you had the album in 2019 and you were planning on touring through it, and then the world shut down?
Yep.
Okay, so just something that hit all the time, like I see it all the time on Blabbermouth, is like the difficulties of touring nowadays. So do you still have those plans, or is it just impossible for bands that aren't like Motley Crue sized?
It is nearly impossible.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Like I've tried to do like a couple short runs this past year, and a lot of the booking places, because venues took a hit too, especially the venues that will host, up and coming smaller bands, independent bands like us. And like you said, unless you're Motley Crue and you have an entire crew showing up to lay it out for you, and you're not going to bring that huge pull that they need for their money, to keep the place open, it's really hard to book that. So they look at your Spotify numbers, they look at all these things. And if they don't know you and you don't already have an in, it's really hard to get a gig and places you haven't played before.
They don't want to take a chance on you, because we were just hoping we could go open for some locals. Like we weren't even expecting to like headline our own tour. We're like, hey, like put us on a local show. We'll be the openers. Like we just want like our foot in the door, like exposure in. And they were like, no, unless you can draw this many people in this area, no thanks.
Yeah.
So how in the world does a newer band do it then?
We're trying to figure that out ourselves. Currently, I know social media is a big part of it. Having your numbers up as far as like followers, interactions, likes on TikTok, especially, is a huge one.
It's a full-time job too, right? I mean, I know I struggle with the show as well. It's a really full-time job.
It really is. And it's something as a musician we greatly struggle with because, I mean, you're already pouring so much of your time and energy into making the music and performing and your imagery. And then on top of it, it's like, well, now you got to be a content creator and you have to be a comedian and you have to be funny and you have to appeal to the masses in order for your video to get pushed out. And that's the problem with our band is, so we do have our bass player is also a woman. We'll never be that band that pushes our gender forward to say, hey, like we got 2 chicks in the band. It's like, no, we're a solid unit. And so none of us are gonna, wear bikini tops and be like, buy my album. And we're not comedians because our music, we are silly people. Our music is not. So.
Right. I don't think you're chopping up, like from what I see, Mary Immaculate into 30-second funny clips.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like, right. That song actually is so emotionally charged. It's actually really hard to sing live. So to make a joke of it, like, it's kind of, I can poke fun at myself, but my music is it's a little harder.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. I sort of feel the same way, because I'm doing the show and it's the same sort of thing. It's all me and, I've got a couple people to help out, but we're constantly trying to figure out a way to stay on top of the newest social media, right? Because every time you get one, there's another 10 of them you got to figure out.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Introducing Threads,
So what's next for you guys then? Are you guys, you have another single queued up and ready to go, or?
We do, actually. We have another video and another single queued up and ready to go, and we just have to make some tweaks to the video. And we were going to release it in December, but we released a song last December, and I just think with the holidays and the end of the year, it didn't do great. So we're going to wait just a little longer into the new year, and hopefully this video will take off a little better.
Yeah, so we've got another single loaded up, and then we're in the middle. We're almost like I think we're about in the middle of writing a new album. So we have 4 or 5 more songs to kind of put together, and then we're hoping beginning of next year, probably around March, to get into the studio and start recording the full album, and then starting to pick singles off of that.
So like the end of 24, something full?
Yeah,
that's what we're hoping for, is spring, summer of 24 to be getting ready to release something that we can actually hopefully get enough traction on to go out and to do a couple short runs here and there. And we're looking to play some more festivals next year, because it's just a great way to link up with the other community of other bands that are like us, that are kind of trying to do that. We all end up just, palling around and bonding at these festivals and kind of seeing each other again. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely think the community is the biggest thing for the metal world, right? Whether you're your size or like Motley Crue, like Mark said, it doesn't matter. It's the community is the community, and there's nothing like it.
No, absolutely.
Nope, there really isn't. Like we're nobody, and going down to Mexico to play this festival, it was like, shit, I hope people will be there to watch us play.
And they were.
And they were fantastic. They were absolutely amazing, because the stage we played on is actually, so there's the festival and then there's the festival doors. It's actually on the outside of the festival.
It's like right as you kind of come in, it's for bands like us, the locals and the up and coming ones and stuff. And there was still a huge amount of people down there supporting.
Don't downplay it. You were still there, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah. It was awesome.
And it was so cool that people would come, and before they went into the festival, they stopped to watch our set. Like they didn't have to. So that was like the biggest compliment. Like, and just meeting them, they love metal down in Mexico.
Oh, yeah. I think all of Latin America does. When I talk to people, they're always telling me like South America is totally insane, when they go down there.
Yeah, like playing a show in comparison to in the States, I've never experienced anything like that. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
Mark, anything?
I think we're good.
All right. So before we go, then I know we were talking about 30-second funny clips. Yeah. I do this because I have somebody that posts them for me. I'm going to show you a picture. If you're game, I'm going to show you a picture. It's totally screwed up. Just tell me what you see in the picture, and then what the next frame would be.
Okay.
All right. Be prepared that it's screwed up, but it's worth it. It's fun. Hold on 1 second.
I don't know.
All right. Do you see that?
Yeah.
What do you see there?
Well, first you see the dude's ass.
Fair enough.
But I feel bad for the dog because I feel like the guy's kind of checking in with the dog to be like, what do you think? And the dog's like, it's not good, man.
Good thing it's just the two of us out here, because I don't want you to embarrass me with your tiny wiener.
Yeah, I feel like this is...
Go ahead.
This is like, we want to watch Castaway, but we have Castaway at home photo.
What do you think the next frame would be? Where does this go?
Nowhere good.
Nowhere good is right.
It looks like there's a ship out there. So I think the next frame is this dude on the boat, and hopefully the dog's with him. But yeah, it definitely looks like hopefully the next frame would be him on the boat being rescued and having to explain himself.
All right, so I'm just going to stick with it for one more second. Why does a dog have a thought bubble of a house, and he has a thought bubble of I guess a wiener?
I would say he's planning on eating the dog,
and the dog just wants to go home.
The dog just wants to go home.
The dog's just like, man, I don't want to be anywhere else but here.
All right, fair enough. So before we go, then. If fans want to find you, can you give us your socials?
Of course. So you can stream all of our music on any streaming platform and anywhere music is sold. You can find us on Instagram at arsenic.addiction. You can find us on Facebook at Facebook-dose of arsenic. And you can find us on TikTok at arsenic addiction.
And YouTube.
Yep, on YouTube.